I'll show you guys some easy exercises to get you tuned up with the dot as far as fixing your presentation. And a lot of people will say finding the dot, but it's not finding the dot. It's fixing your presentation, okay? It's aligning the gun, indexing. So in dry practice, I use this same exercise. And then live fire, there's a couple fun added benefits of it. So most of the time, this will be the part 2 of that dot series. A lot of people are worried about brand and MOA and astigmatism and all that. We covered that in the first video. This video, we're taking it to the next step. We're talking about fixing that presentation, aligning that dot on target, and then we're going to talk about what if the dot's not there. People have apprehension and think, okay, what if I'm carrying with a dot and I draw the gun and it's not there? So we're going to show you guys some stuff where I shot at 15 yards and all kinds of things, an ability to hit with no dot whatsoever. Just some guillotine shooting, some window shooting. Your window at even with an SRO, a big window dot at 3 to 5 yards only covers up a 6-inch circle anyway. So even out to 15 yards, you're looking at about a 12-inch circle. Now it gets hard when you're talking about vertical and horizontal alignment, but you'll see that stuff here after a bit at the end of the video. This exercise is money, okay? Dry practice, this is awesome. And then also we can do it out here at the range, get some added benefits. So one thing we'll work on a little bit is this, which is some negative target shooting, and you guys will see that. And then here's a tape drill. So this tape drill is so good. Only working one axis at a time. So right here we're working our horizontal axis. All we need to do is hit somewhere in this piece of tape. If we hit over here and hit over here, our horizontal alignment is off. Here we're working our vertical alignment. So we want to hit in this piece of tape. And then obviously the added benefit of this is a little bit of trigger control to hit this piece of tape at 3 to 5 yards is basically what I recommend you doing. Make it hard on yourself, 3, 4, 5 yards. 3 yards is a little bit easy because by the time you extend the gun's only 6 feet away from the target. So I like to do it at about 5. Makes it just hard enough to be pretty difficult. And then obviously we're going to come into the cross and we're going to try to eat out that center of that cross. So let's do about 5 rounds on each. I'm going to present the gun. We're going to do the horizontal first with the vertical piece of tape. Alrighty, so not going off the timer and I'm not worried about speed. I'm just simply doing a nice presentation and drilling a hole in that thing, okay? Okay, so one of those shots, I was just a little off, just a little bit. I'll show you at the end. So now we're going to work our vertical on the horizontal piece of tape. Just nice and easy, and whack. Oh, that one was a little bad grip. This will teach you exactly where your offset is too. Okay, so I'm not super happy about that. All my shots are just above, so I'm aligning just a little too high, and I'm trying to work my offset a little bit, and I'm going a little too much on the offset. Okay, now let's go to the cross. This is where I want to kind of eat out that center of that cross. Let that one go quick. Okay, I let that one go a little bit off. Finger was a little bit weird. But you see what I'm doing here. And I'm going fairly quick. I should be going slower than that to illustrate. But at the same time, you see what we got. So I was happy with those. I was kind of chilling. Then I started speeding up a little bit, and I had my offset off just a little bit where I was aiming a little too high to try to hit the piece of tape. But still, I can live with it. And then here, a couple of those shots, I just got a little bit wacky, starting to speed up and roll and roll and roll, and that's my problem. I just start to go faster. Now, if I want to just, you know, literally keep the group tiny, I can. But for me, you know, I'm working. I can do it whenever I want to at ease. Also, what I'll do though, and this is where it starts to get quite a bit harder, is pulled that one. Okay, so this is where it gets quite a bit harder in the trigger control aspect. I'm lining up really well, but I'm dipping my gun just a little bit when I pull the trigger. Wiggling, wiggling, wiggling. So that's what I'll do a lot in practice. Now I pulled 2 of those pretty roughly. So it's very, very good practice. Very good. And when in live fire, it's very good for trigger control. In dry practice, it's very good for the alignment. So right here we have a negative target. The A zone and the head box is actually cut out. As we start to speed up a little bit here, we'll throw a couple on the timer. Okay, 0.8. Okay, got a shitty grip and stuck one low. 83 again. .82. Okay, 86. Show them this target. So these are fun, and you can see immediately when you screw up. So caught this one on that last one, and then this one was just a terrible, just a screw up from jump. So got a bad grip. It was like a 1.01 or something. Just horrible. So that's kind of mistakes you'll make. But those negative targets are what we're going to do here. Is I'm going to show you guys how good you can shoot just using the window. So there's no dot, right? The dot is off. I'll push the button 100 times. The dot is off. Can you see in there? No dot. No dot. So what we're going to do here is shoot at about 15 yards an A-zone piece of or A-zone USBSA target, just using the window itself. I'm not going to do shit but use the window and run off the draw using my natural index, natural top triangle position. Just draw and bang, and we're going to just see what happens. This is to show you guys when your dot fails. If that dot wasn't on and I had to draw this gun and do work, obviously I'm probably closer than 15 yards, but we're going to do it back here just to show you guys kind of the worst case scenario. You got to draw and shoot somebody or something at 15 yards or so, and your dot isn't on. So we're just going to try this out, see kind of where we end up. Pulled that one a little right. That's a 1-1-4 draw with no sighting system. That's an A. Okay, high shoulder. Lower A, 111. A little low, but on the target. 15 yards, no dot whatsoever, and drawing, that was a 99. So I'm drawing fast and doing it. If I try to just like line up the gun naturally, okay? I'm hitting the head a little bit, I'm hitting the shoulders a little bit, but vertically I'm stringing a little bit. So let's check out the target. That's just me just indexing. Now I missed 2 of those shots. So pretty solid stuff there. Obviously going to the low side, hit right there in the wood on one, and I missed one out through here. But for the most part, we can get a whole lot done with no freaking dot at all. So now I'm going to show you a thing called guillotine shooting. So guillotine shooting is basically where we use the top hood of the sight. Okay, I'm going to aim for the bottom line of the A, and let's move back here a little bit. We're at about 7. Move back to like 8 yards. Okay, so I'm going to use this guillotine method. Basically, what the guillotine method is you split your target in half, and you're going to hit a little bit high with this method. But if you use it and split the target in half with the top bar and just aim a little lower, you'll drill all day. So here we go. That's almost always. I think I pulled one a tiny bit high. No dot, just using the guillotine, just chopping the target in half. I'm basically putting the hood of my RMR or my SRO right here. And all the rounds are hitting just above it. Very, very simple shit. In self-defense circumstances, I mean, come on. If you think that all these like terrible things are going to happen, you're just stacking fantasies on top of fantasies. We're back here at 8 yards again. Okay, it's not, you don't have to aim that well, especially once you get up close. It's super freaking easy and simple. If you think you're going to get in a gunfight, 1, 2, your dot's going to die, and 3, it's going to be a long distance, really good shot all at the same time, I highly doubt all those things are going to stack up on you, right? You may get in a gunfight. You may even have to take a pretty accurate shot. But then your dot to fail too, 2 of those things are pretty possible to happen. The third, you're going to have to be one unlucky son of a bitch. And hey, if you get pretty good at shooting, we've just demonstrated at 15 yards, if I draw and just drive a couple times at 15 yards, still hitting, right? Now, if I drew on somebody at 15 yards and there were bystanders and people in the background and shit, I'm probably not going to take them shots, right? I'm going to move in. I got to do whatever I got to do. I got to find a piece of cover or move to a better point of domination. Whatever the hell I got to do to get a little closer so that I can be sure of it. And then most of the time, this gun doesn't have any sights on it, any backup sights. If it has backup sights, we can do work all day. Usually all I do is put a front sight on it, a tall front sight, which I haven't swapped this over from another gun yet, but it's better for me to show you with this. Then, if you have a smaller windowed sight, like a Holosun or an RMR, the group size and the window size and everything is less. So let's move up to about, let's say 5 yards here. Okay, so if we move up to 5 yards and I present to this target and just put my window is covering in an SRO, which is one of the biggest window dots there is. It's covering just a little bit more than the width of the A zone, and basically like an 8-inch circle. And that's with one of these. Most people are carrying with an RMR or a Holosun that's a much smaller window. So right here, all I got to do is put my freaking dot or my window on the target and drill the shit out of them. That is all. So do not worry about your dot failing. Do not come up with as many reasons as you possibly can to not use a dot. Like, be practical about it. With an RMR with the V-shaped hood, this shit is easy. The V-shaped hood on an RMR makes this shit easy. With this big round hood, it is harder. But if you notice also on the top of the SRO, there's a little line. you can find dead center on top of your Holosun or whatever, but they got the thing. But if I put a little line of white marking paint, like a little perfect line right there, there's another aiming device. Like, just so many people are so worried about this shit. If I still have a dot on a projected lens, I can hit all day, 25 yards. If it's all the way covered up, I'm basically going to use the very top of it or use the back of the slide as a reference point. Now, it'd be tough at 25, but up close, it's not hard. Anyway, I wouldn't try that, obviously. Like I said, if there were bystanders in the way or some shit like that, I would not be trying that shit. But if I just had to literally draw and get the hell out of Dodge, actually, just by naturally not thinking about it at all, I put 3 out of those 5 on target. And we're at about, what, 12 yards, 13 yards right here. So the less you think about it, the better. And if that guy was out in the middle of space and I knew that my background was good, I could go with that. And you know, a couple shots, and then I'm out of here, right? And we're leaving. So I'm basically just using lead cover at that point, if that happened. And that might be your play. If you pull the gun out and there's no dot and you don't have backup irons, which you should on a carry gun, we got to leave. So that'll do her.